Hi, this is Patrick Sullivan again, just talking a little math with you again tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about multiplication and talk about the old way and the new way and developmentally appropriate manipulatives to help students understand multiplication. Tonight I'm going to do a two-digit by two-digit problem. So 22 times 16, or 22 groups of 16. So the old way we used to do this, 2 times 6 is 12. Bring the 2 down, carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, so that's 3. And then we put a 0 here. 2 times 6 is 12. Bring the 2 down, carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2 again. 1 more is 3. So then we bring that down. That's 2. That's 5. And that's 3. And you can think about the way I talked about that. Again, the goal at the time as we learned these things it was about speed and efficiency. And so this was an algorithm and allowed us to do it very quickly. You can notice the terminology I used. I didn't talk a whole lot about place value. I could have, but that wasn't how we were taught. It was probably as you heard me say it was the way that it happened. So anyway, so I want to take you through a child who's learning how to do this and using the base 10 blocks. So just to give you an example of how it's presented. So again, here we have the 22. So we have two 10s and two 1s. And then we were multiplying that by 16. So we have the 16 up here. So that's a 10. And 6 1s. So again, as before, we go through this, and again, we talked about base 10 blocks in the past. Each of these rods represents a 10. So a 10 times 10 is 100, so that brings the flat, and that's 100, and you can see the 100 dots. And then we have another rod times a rod, or a 10 times a 10, so that's another flat. So then we have 10 times 1, and we have another rod, and so we're going to have 6 of these. We have another one. And again, this may seem tedious, but as a child starts to develop an understanding of this idea, we start to bring in these ideas related to place value, and I think at the end, you kind of see how hopefully this all fits together. So again, I have a 10 times 1, 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 or 10 times 6, which you can see the 60 here, and the 10 times 6 with another 60 here. Here we have 2 times 10, so we will have 20 down here. Okay, and then we have 1 times 1. 1 times 1. And you're going to see this 1 times 1, or essentially we're doing 2 times 8. You can see the 2 here and the 8 up here. So we're going to end up with 16 units, and we can do a little bit of exchanging in the end. So right now, this is still a little bit of an issue because we haven't kind of resolved all of this. But again, we can start to think about this. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can take the 10 1s. And we're left with 2 units, and replace that with another rod, which we have here, and then we can start to think about replacing the 10 rods with another flat. So as we do this, we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And I'm going to replace that with another flat. Now again, it doesn't fit perfectly to my original arrangement, but if I think about what I now have, I have 3 10s, or excuse me, 3 hundreds, 5 10s, and 2 1s, or 352. Now again, that to an adult that seems like a lot of work, but again, it's a child. You're trying to develop their understanding of place value and working with numbers, and you can see from the actions that I went through, a lot of those things are happening. And again, to an adult that may seem tedious, but again, we're focusing on place value. So again, I want you to think about what I have in front of me here, and I'll talk to you about the partial product algorithm that we talked a lot now with students that kind of connects to the concrete piece we do. And again, I'll put it up against what I did earlier. And again, my goal right now isn't speed and efficiency. It'll come, but my goal isn't right now. So 2 groups of 6, so that's 12. 2 groups of 10, that's 20. So again, 2 groups of 6, that's 12. 2 groups of 10, that's 20. So that, again, that's 1 10 and 2 1s. And you remember that exchange that I did? You saw that earlier with the base 10 blocks. And now I have a 20. 20 groups of 6, or 20 times 6, that's 120. Or 12 groups of 10, which again, you saw me do that exchange later. And then 20 times 10, which is 200. Okay, so then again, that's more work, but again, that's my goal. I'm not there yet. I'm trying to line up and help students understand what's happening. So again, I had my 2, I had my 5 10s, and you could see that exchange that I did. Instead of 12 10s, I worked that out, and now I had 1 10, 100, and 2 10s. And you saw that action with the base 10 blocks. And then I had 100 and 200, so I had 300s, and you saw again that action with the flats. And so in the end, you can kind of see what I had. There's my 100, there's another 100, and there's my third 100. Here's my 5 10s, and here's my 2 1s that I ended up with. And I challenge you to go back through and work that problem out as I did originally to kind of see how everything connects. So again, the goal here is just to show you what we're doing. And again, I cannot iterate this enough, but the goal right now is we help students develop these understandings is not to develop the speed and efficiency. It will happen over time, but we want to help them develop the meaning as they move from the concrete to the abstract. Again, if my goal is to be quick and efficient, I'm just going to hand them a calculator, but my goals are bigger than that. So that's why I want to focus on developing some of these ideas related to understanding the procedures that they're actually doing and how it relates to place value. Again, thank you for your time, and I hope this was informative.